Hey there. It's Saturday, April 16th, 2022. I'm at the Wildhorse Casino outside of Pendleton, Oregon. My name's Chris Rich. I'm a Christian, and I'm also a poker player. Now, today is the last day for me of the spring poker roundup here at the casino. The actual last day of the tournament is tomorrow, but it's Easter, so I just won't be here. Today I'll play in a 1-3 no-limit game in a little bit. Yesterday I played in a $230 buy-in no-limit hold'em event, and I also played in a cash game. I didn't do very well in the tournament event. I was out in 2 hours and 15 minutes. I did get some good playable hands in playable situations, unlike the rest of the tournament. I've been running pretty cold the rest of the tournament. But I was on a table yesterday with a lot of loose passive players in the tournament, and I got a lot of calls, and my hands just didn't hold up. Second best a lot of times. My stack dwindled pretty quickly, and I was knocked out of the tournament. So I got into the cash game about 345. A hand that stands out in the cash game is a Jack 4 of clubs. I was in the big blind. The under the gun player made it 6, and it was called by 6 people. So 7 people in there for 6 plus my 3. So that's great pot odds. I went ahead and called 3 just to see what the flop would bring. So the flop gave me a club draw, and there was a 9-10 on the board as well. So that gave me a backdoor straight draw. I checked, and it was checked around to a player who bet 20. The pot was laying 3-1 at that time, and it looked like nobody was going to raise behind, maybe get a caller or 2. So I went ahead and called. Everybody folded except for one other player, so there were 3 of us in, and we saw the turn with $104 in the pot. The turn card was an 8 of spades, so that gave me an open-ended straight draw to go along with my flush draw. Now, there's a few things I could do in this situation. One of the things I could do is I could bet out. Another thing I could do is I could push all in, and another thing I could do is I could just check. Depending on the situation, the players behind me, how I feel like they'll play against me, how I feel like they look at me, and think about my style and how I've been playing, that all determines what I'll do. In this particular situation, I felt if I bet about half the pot, the most likely outcome would be that both players would fold. So I bet $45, which is just under half the pot, and I got called by a player, and then the second player began to think about it and try to decide what he was going to do. At this time, the dealer, who had been chit-chatting and not paying too close of attention to what was going on in the game, burned a card and put down the river card, which was the 7 of hearts, which was a great card for me, giving me the low end of the straight, except it wasn't going to stand because the player hadn't acted. The third player had not acted on the hand. So we held the action, called the floor over, and the floor person decided that what we'd do is take that 7 back into the deck, shuffle it up, allow the player to act, whether they wanted to call or raise or whatever, and then we'd move on with the hand and put down another river card. This is the right thing to do. I mean, the dealer made a mistake, which could have been avoided, but this is the right thing to do in this situation. So the dealer went ahead and did it, shuffled up the cards. The player went ahead and called, and the new card was a queen of spades, so it still gave me a straight draw. I went ahead and shoved all in, and I got called by both of them, and unfortunately the queen was a bad card for me because it made a higher straight for the player that had not acted earlier in the hand. He actually had a king jack and made a king high straight to beat my queen high straight. Now, I could have thrown a fit. I could have thrown my cards. I could have swore at the dealer. I could have yelled. I could have jumped up and down. I could have screamed. And I chose to do none of that. I tried to behave as a Christian. I accepted the situation for what it was. And I said to the player, "Hey, great hand." And he said thanks. And we moved on with it. And that's okay. This was an event. It was a situation, a bad thing in the moment that happened. But if I look at that, what it was really doing, what I really would have been getting upset at is the particular outcome, and not the long run event that is going on here. And I need to look to the long run. As Christians, we need to look at the long run of our lives and just remain calm and not be swayed, not be so affected by individual outcomes of individual events. Did this suck in the moment? Yeah, of course it did. I lost the hand. I would have pushed the hand. I would have tied the hand with the player and split the pot otherwise. But it could have just as easily gone in my favor as well. It could have been a club that came, or the queen of clubs on the river, giving him both the straight and me the flush, in which case I would have won. So the long run outcome here is I played the hand well. It didn't boost my bankroll in the moment, but over the long run of playing poker, it will. It's a good play, and it was fine. And so I just need to remember that, and I just need to look at the long run of what's going on. And so this next piece kind of talks to that as well. So not too long after this hand, a player came and he sat down next to me, on my left, and he was wearing a jacket, and this jacket had a specific sporting event on it, and so I said to this player, I said, "Hey, what's your interest in this sporting event? Is this something that you enjoy? Is it something that you attended? Is it something that you've competed in? Is it something that somebody you've known is competed in?" And he kind of paused for a moment and seemed to be a bit sad, and he said, "Yeah, so my son was a professional, and he was competing in this event, and he was killed while he was competing in this event, and that was quite shocking to me hearing that. I didn't know how to react. I was taken aback. It was something completely unexpected, and but immediately I had compassion on this guy, and I wanted to say something, and so I just tried to react in that compassionate way, and I just said, "I am so sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. I can't imagine how you feel, and I'm just sorry to hear that." And he said, "Yeah, it's extremely tough. It's one of the toughest things I've dealt with in my life, and I'm just trying to look forward to seeing him down the line." And I said, "Hey, that sounds like you're a Christian. Are you a Christian? I'm a Christian." And he said, "Yeah, I am a Christian, and God has been the reason in my life. He's been the reason I can go on. He's been without him there wouldn't be any reason to go on and live." And he said that God was, the reason he can continue to move forward and just look at life through that long run. He didn't use the word long run, but he could look at life through that long run lens, because he's focused not on the moment, not on the outcome. Of course, this outcome, this moment, hurts him. I could tell it's devastating to him. It's a heart-wrenching thing. But I could also tell by the way he was talking to me that his focus is on the long run of life with Jesus, life with God, that there is more, that these are moments and not eternity. And he's focused on eternity, and he's focused on his life with Jesus in heaven. That was great reassurance for me. That was great start of a conversation. And unfortunately, the conversation was cut short. He was on a list for a higher game, and very quickly he was called, and he went to that higher game, and so I had shared with him really quickly how God changed my life completely. How I was until 33, I did not know Jesus. I was not a Christian, and then once I knew Jesus, my life had been completely turned around, and that I too had that focus on life, that look at life of long run, and that's what life was more about. So he thanked me for the conversation. I thanked him for sharing, which was great. We exchanged names and handshake, and then he went on went on his way. So the message here for me is today is focus on the long run. Jesus is the long run. and it's, it's so easy to get caught up in the situations we're in. It's so easy to get caught up in the outcome of a hand, or a day at the office, or a day at the store, or a day driving down the road, and the things that happen. And let's try to shift our focus and focus on the long run of Jesus. So now I ended up the day on that game up $78. Today I'm going to go in and I'm going to play again in the 1-3 cash game and see how I do. And then I will let you know how that all went. So God bless you. Have a great day, and thanks.